Welcome to Community Conversations. I'm Frederick County Executive Jan Gardner. And joining me today is a new guest, a new employee in Frederick County government, Milton Bailey, who is the Director of our Housing and Community Development Department. Welcome, Milton.
Thank you so much, Ms. Gardner.
I'm very pleased to have you join county government, particularly in the area of housing. You have a lot of experience in Louisiana and in D.C., great educational background, fabulous resume. So why don't you share with our viewers a little bit about yourself, what kind of work you've done, and just your background.
I come from a long line of public service people. My father was in foreign service. I had an opportunity to grow up abroad. He was in international development. I wanted to take my experiences and grew my career domestically. I've had an opportunity to be the director of the Department of Housing and Community Development in Washington, D.C., two-time director of the Housing Finance Agency in Washington, and the president of the Louisiana Housing Finance Agency in Louisiana.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about what a housing finance agency does?
Can do. Essentially, it is a conduit leverager of tax-exempt as well as taxable funds. And essentially, it puts those funds into the community for use by home buyers for down payment, closing cost assistance, and mortgage loans at below market rates. And for developers to undertake the financing or the development of housing by providing mortgage loans, long-term mortgage loans, 30, 40-year mortgage loans, also at below market rates.
Okay. So that helps them provide a lower cost housing product at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, it lowers the rents. It makes housing much more affordable. Just like what our mission here is in Frederick County. Workforce housing, special needs housing, elderly.
Yep. We certainly have an interest in making sure that we have housing opportunities for everybody who wants to live in Frederick County, and we certainly want to have opportunities for everybody who works in Frederick County to live in Frederick County. And we are in a region that has a fairly high cost of housing, and so we struggle with that, and so do a number of other metropolitan areas and the regions that surround them throughout the country. So I know you have a wealth of experience in dealing with this, so in larger metropolitan areas. So what attracted you to come to Frederick County?
Well, one of the things that it was really exciting was the close relationship that housing has with social services. Typically, in large metropolitan areas, housing is used as an economic development tool, which it is. But it's also a social service tool, meaning you are serving people that have a need, whether it's your workforce, whether it's your elderly, whether it's you're homeless or people with special needs. And if you're developing affordable housing, you're really developing for that population, those 4 points of population within your community. To the extent that you bring developers into the transaction, well, you do that by incentivizing them to build the type of housing that your social service providers are telling you where the need is. And that is what's really exciting about Frederick County.
Okay, so that's a unique thing versus the experience you've had in other places.
Yeah, it's actually the dog wagging the tail rather than the other way around. It is identifying where the real need is, what the real need population is, and then serving that need. Who better to tell you than your social service providers that are working where the rubber hits the road? And so what we try to do is develop housing based upon that need and then work with developers to help leverage the funds to encourage their participation in providing those services for a particular community. It's more of a strategic way of developing affordable housing rather than taking a shotgun approach. Instead of building housing out here where there may be less of a need, Let's build it here where the need has already been demonstrated. And that's ground up, and that's where your social service providers and social service agencies feed into what is needed to be built.
Well, I know you have not been in this job for very long, but one of the good things about Frederick County, in my estimation, is we're a mid-sized community, and all of the players know each other, and I think it helps us to solve problems because we do know when an issue arises, we are able to go out and connect all the people who need to be connected to bring that skill set to the table to solve that problem. Now, I'm sure you're aware that we have a project going on to convert a former county building at 520 North Market Street into a workforce housing project, and we're working with a local, longtime nonprofit, Interfaith Housing Alliance, to get that done. But that's only going to touch a small piece of the need that's out there.
That's true.
And so we have to do more of that. So we're working with the Affordable Housing Council, and we have a housing needs study out there. So I don't know if you can speak to how you think the department should move forward with some of our programs and services to make sure that we meet the needs that are out there.
Well, we're still drilling down to find out, make sure that our programs are aligned with the county objectives. That's the first thing. But it's very important to get the input from our partners that actually build the affordable housing. And so developing close working relationships with the Affordable Housing Council, with developers within our community, with the bankers within our community, with the advocates within our community, really cause your housing agenda to bring texture to what it is you're trying to do. And so preserving those relationships, building on those relationships is key if we're going to serve the community needs.
Okay. I think that's very well said. And I think one of the other advantages that we have is that we don't duplicate services because we do know who's doing what, and we let people do their piece without a lot of duplication. And I think that's a real benefit. Now, we do have a moderately priced dwelling unit program in our zoning law. Most of our developers have taken an option to do fee in lieu instead of building that moderately priced product. So part of what I'm looking for to come out of this housing study is how do we best leverage that money to get the biggest bang for the buck to meet the need that's out there. So, we're looking at what is the need and how do we meet that need.
How do we meet that need? Leveraging is very important. One of the things that the Affordable Housing Council and I am looking at is how do we monetize our PIL funds in such a way as to create a pool of funds that we can put into a housing trust fund and then create a revolving loan fund around it. And so those are some of the things that we'll look at and do a deeper dive on and be guided by the results of the housing needs assessment.
Okay. Well, I really look forward to working with you. I do think that you'll bring some new energy, some new ideas to the table. We always have things that we can learn from each other.
Yes.
And when you have a broader experience, we think that will be a great benefit to us in our housing programs.
Well, thank you so much, Ms. Gardner. It's a pleasure working for you.
So is there any other highlights you'd like to provide to people or share with people how they can get a hold of the housing department if they need some assistance?
Sure. First thing, I think it's a good idea to go online or give us a call at area code 301-600-1061. We've got folks that will answer your calls. We've got two types of rental assistance programs. One is for people who are facing displacement or facing homelessness. Another is a more long-term program for individuals that are in need of assistance with their rent. We can tell you more about that when you give us a call. We've got two forms of homebuyer assistance program that provide down payment and closing cost assistance. There is the Frederick County program that provides up to $7,000 worth of down payment, and you can use it for down payment and closing cost assistance. And then there's the state of Maryland program that does the same. And the interesting thing is that you can combine the two, so you can get, especially now when the market is so perfect for acquisition, combine the two and get up to $14,000, for down payment and closing cost assistance. And then we've got a cadre of participating lenders that work with the county to get that money out into the hands of the residents. We've got our homeownership repair rehabilitation programs. So if you're a senior citizen or a person who has emergency repairs for their households, whether it's mechanical stuff or whether it's a roof or whether it's flooring, or Susan is working on the rehabilitation of an entire house that you're going to be visiting, I think, early next month when we start breaking ground. It's a modular. So we have those programs. We have developer incentive programs. Oh my goodness! Just give us a call or go online and take a look at what our menu offers.
Well, I appreciate that. I really do think it's important for people to call. I just had a woman call my office, a senior citizen, in the last week asking for help getting some insulation before we get back into our cold weather season.
Right.
And of course, between our housing programs and work through the Community Action Agency and elsewhere, there are programs out there to help seniors with, things like insulation and
right.
emergency repairs, septic repairs, all kinds of issues that are fundamental things that people need to have safe housing. So not everybody knows that we offer these programs, and of course we offer them in partnership, as you know, with our state partners and others. Some of this money flows from the federal government, and so we need to make sure that people who legitimately need this kind of assistance know where to call.
Yes, ma'am.
So, well, I look forward to working with you. Thank you for joining us today. I want to thank all of our viewers for tuning in. I hope you learned a little bit about housing and community development in Frederick County. And if you see Milton Bailey, say welcome to Frederick County. Thank you for joining us.